Ladies and gentlemen, what an opportunity, what a moment, and I am really excited. Sarah Reeves joins us here on the airwaves. Sarah, thank you for your time and thanks for being willing to chat to us here at CCFM.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are super excited, and the main reason we're chatting to you is there's a brand new single, and we're going to definitely talk quite a bit about Get Back Your Fight. But what I'd love to do first, for those people who maybe know Sarah Reeves. Yeah, I know one or two songs, but they don't really know Sarah Reeves. Will you tell
Yeah.
us about yourself? Tell us who you are, what makes you tick, and
Oh,
how you got to where you are.
yes. Well, that's a loaded question, but I have been doing music for a very long time. I started super young. I grew up in a small town in Alabama in the U.S., and my family, they were all musical, and I just started. Um, Playing in bands, singing in church like my whole life. And from that, just started traveling a bit and opening up for like bigger festivals and bigger artists, and ended up moving to Nashville, Tennessee. They call it Music City here. Because there's just so much music around. And so this is home now. I've been here for about 13 years, and I've been just releasing music over the years, and I feel like it's all over the place. If you like Google my name, you're gonna be like, wait, who is what? This music is all over the place. But it's because I started so young, and my music has just kind of grown up with me. And now I'm more proud of my music than I've ever been. It's more in the pop space. I write just about my personal experiences in life, and I just hope that when I write and release the music, that people are able to connect with it and they can find a part of their own story in these songs.
Oh, well, definitely people have found, and I'm not just talking about people as old as myself, but I'm talking about teenagers. My oldest daughter,
Yeah,
Zoe, absolutely loves your music.
I
And
love
so
that. That's so cool.
it really is so cool. So you've touched on it in the fact that you've got lots of different songs out there. And
Mhm.
I think that's a beautiful sign of how talented and gifted you are. So
Oh,
thank you for that.
thank you. I appreciate that.
No, you're welcome. So get back your fight. I allowed my wife and my oldest daughter to we listened to it a number of times, and my wife was, kind of making notes, so to speak, and my daughter was like, "Oh, that's a great song," but it's something not kind of in the mainstream, but yet it is. Uh,
Hmm.
and of course, the story behind it of getting out of that space of anxiety, fear, depression. Talk
Yeah.
to us about Get Back Your Fight and how it came to be.
Yes. So this song kind of came out of nowhere. It came at the last minute. Actually have my full album supposed to be coming out in September. It is coming out in September, but it was already done, written, produced, mixed, mastered, and I was writing this year. I actually went through just such a really hard personal season about a year ago, and just ever since then kind of asked myself, like, just trying to find who I am, find like the strength that I didn't even know was in me. And I was anxious, I was depressed, I was, had so many fears at the same time. But in the middle of all that, I just found myself like writing these newer songs and just here in this room. And I also just had this desire to make the music myself and actually to go back to my original roots of writing, which was by myself. Not that there's anything wrong with co writing, I love co writing, collaborating with other people. But just there was a season where I'm like, I feel like I need to just shut out all the other voices and zone in and really get out exactly what I wanted to say. And also, it was just therapy for me at the same time. So I kind of taught myself production, got all the gear for like making the actual music because a lot of times, well, every other song in my career has been done by like produced by someone else. And so I just wanted to see if I could do it on my own. And in the meantime of me learning and going through all these personal things, my team was like, Sarah, we really want you to be posting on TikTok and Instagram and social media like every day. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot, but I'm going to try. And what can I post? How can I stand out as an artist? Because there's so many artists on TikTok being like, here's my new song, listen to it. And so I'm like, how can I stand out? And so I thought the production, as a female, there's not a ton of females producing their own music in this space. And so I decided to just kind of like turn my phone on, turn my camera around, and film my process of me learning production. And obviously, I'm a songwriter first and foremost, so lyrics and melody would come on top of these tracks that I would be putting out. And I wrote this song, "Get Back Your Fight," one day. It was March 1st of this year, and I started with this very like cinematic kind of 6/8 progression, and I wrote this song, first verse and the chorus. I put it out on Instagram. It was totally unfinished, very rough, but all of a sudden I just noticed like all these comments coming in and all these new followers and just people like sharing the song, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like growing unlike any other song I've ever like put out. And so I decided to write a second verse a couple days later, and then I posted that, and the same thing happened, just started growing. And my team eventually just said, I think we need to finish the song and put it out immediately. I was like, okay. And I'm thinking maybe I'll get a co-producer to help me. And then I was just like, you know what? No, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to finish it myself. And it's the first song that I have ever done fully 100% on my own, and released it as is. I had my older brother mix it and just kept it in the family. And it's just been so cool to see the song like connect with people because it's vulnerable. There's obviously it came from a very deep place in my heart, but then for other people to hear it and share their stories and for them to be encouraged by it has just been like so cool to see the response. So I'm really happy to have it out in the world.
Well, we are super happy to be able to play it here in South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. Really awesome.
So cool. I love that.
But let's talk about it, if you don't mind, Sarah, just to delve into it a little bit, because in Christian circles, for many years, the whole thing of depression, anxiety, it's not really something we would talk about. But in reality, we go through these things, just about everybody. And I mean, if you look at David, who in the Bible, in the Old Testament, is called a man after God's own heart, you kind of realize that, he went through a lot. And there were times when he was quite down and out,
Yeah,
feeling, So
definitely.
how do we encourage people to move into a space of not just kind of putting on that fake smile
Right.
and trying to pretend like it's all okay?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think, especially in the culture that I've grown up in, which has been primarily Christian church culture, it's been like it's kind of this taboo subject. Like you don't really show when you're struggling, and if you do, you get kind of like, are people going to judge me? Especially even as I'm in the positions that I'm in, as a leader or as an influencer, it's like, oh, I can't say when I'm struggling, and I've actually just kind of, the older I get, the more opposite of that I have become. I'm just like, you know what? The more vulnerable I am, the more I find that people have a respect for it, and they actually are encouraged, because I have a lot of songs out or that are going to be out that aren't necessarily like full of hope. There's not necessarily like the answer in these songs. But I think people can sense, oh, this person is being real, and she is writing a song of what I feel. And in that alone, just people knowing that they're not the only ones that struggle with fear and anxiety and depression or whatever it is, like, I think just knowing they're not the only ones is a huge hope in itself, because we're all in this together and everybody's going through some kind of battle, whether that's, heartbreak or losing someone or a sickness. Like, we're all going through something. And so why not just be real? And
Mm,
like, if we're not feeling it, like, some days I do still put on a fake smile and that's okay. But like other days I'm like, you know what? This is I'm not feeling it today. And
mm,
and then it kind of opens up the space for other people to like let their guards down and just be like, actually, I'm not okay either. And that's where like the true conversation happens, and that's where true healing, I think, begins.
mm. That is beautiful.
Mhm.
And I think that's also important, that with some people you can be open and honest
Mhm.
because you've got a trust relationship. And
Totally.
with other people, you need to be careful what you
Yeah,
say and how you say it. Hey.
absolutely. Yeah, it's important to have good, trusting people in your life that can
Mm,
take it and you can share with them anything and they will help you and encourage you and make you better.
mm, so true. We don't have a lot of time, but I did, in the way of just getting to know Sarah Reeves a little bit better, thought to have a little bit of fun towards the end, if you don't mind, and
Yeah.
ask you things like, when you get up and you're going to go make yourself something to drink, what is it that you go and make yourself typically?
In the mornings,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's actually what gets me out of bed every morning. I'm a coffee drinker. But
Yay.
I have an espresso machine, so that's the
Okay.
one thing that I like splurged on. I'm like, I have to have this, and I get the little pods, that make the full cups of coffee, and then I have like the frother. I froth oat milk,
Oh,
pour a little
oh,
honey
nice.
in it every morning. It's just like what gets me out of bed. It just wakes me up. But yeah, I love that.
Brilliant. And
Mhm.
then just purely because, in South Africa, pizza is quite big, but pasta is also big. And I'm not sure your eating preferences, but if it was a choice between pizza and pasta, which would you go for?
Definitely pasta. I I'm a
Oh,
big pasta lover. It's my weakness. Above like sugar and sweets and all the things, like give me pasta and I'm a happy girl. Too, but pasta's my
brilliant.
yeah.
Okay. And then growing up, did you have any pets in your life? And are you more of a cat person or do you love dogs more?
I'm definitely not a cat person. I'm allergic to cats. Um, I had dogs all my life, and I don't have any pets right now. Um,
Mm.
but I just had a Labradoodle actually pass away, which is really sad.
Oh,
But
right.
I'm definitely a dog person. I love pets from afar, but right now with like traveling and all the things, it's just almost
Mm.
impossible to have a pet, but I do love them.
No, clearly
Yes.
beautiful. Well, maybe one day, because I also was allergic to cats, and then I
Oh,
met my wife, and somehow my allergies disappeared. So
oh,
maybe,
I actually have heard that before. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe
Who
one
knows?
day.
Brilliant. And then lastly, and maybe in a more deep way, just in terms of the young people that have been through so much. I think of high school students, college students that during the pandemic we had, terrible lockdowns. They weren't able to go to class. They weren't able to socialize with friends and so forth in our country. Um, what hope would you give us today, just for those people who've been through a lot and are saying, I'm still feeling like I'm not there yet?
That's a good question. Um, specifically for young people, I think one of the most damaging things that I've seen happen, it's been amazing, but um, it's been harder, has been this right here, the social media and the phone. It becomes this whole world and this obsession with like comparing ourselves to everyone else's life, and I think a lot of insecurities have crept in. Anxiety has been more prevalent than ever at such a young age. Depression kicks in, and I think the main thing I would love to just leave with young people is to not get consumed with a screen, you know, but to know that there is a reality, and that's usually everyone's highlights that you're comparing your life to. So it's not actually a reality. Um, but like I said earlier, we're all humans. We're all facing some sort of battle or struggle. So just be kind to one another and try to put yourself out there in the real world. Have conversations with people, you know, face to face, not just on the phone. And I think that in itself, especially for me this year, that has been the number one thing that has really helped me find myself and my strength, is just like meeting people and loving people and hearing people's stories, and just knowing that there's a beautiful world that we live in right outside of our door, you know, right in our own cities. And so get out, get some sunshine, and know that like God loves you and He's for you, and yeah, that you can do anything that you set your mind to. That's what I always tell myself. So that's what I will leave with you guys.
That is absolutely beautiful. And I
Mm.
almost wanted to sneak in there and get back your fight. You will be able to get back your
Yes,
fight.
exactly. Put that at the end. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
Sarah, it's been an absolute treat to chat to you, to get to know you just a little bit better. And
likewise.
we really appreciate what you're doing, and that your vulnerability and being willing to just say, you know what, we can do this.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thanks for all of your support with my music. I really appreciate it. I hope to make it out to South Africa one day. Would love to come out.
It'll be so cool to have you out in South Africa. I mean, in Cape
Yes.
Town, where we live, I don't know if you've seen how beautiful it is here, but I'm just saying we got one of the seven natural wonders of the world, Table Mountain, you know, all those things.
No, that is definitely on my list. I want to visit one day. So
Please
it's
do.
so cool that my
Please do.
music is being played out there. I love it.
Oh, no, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
Sarah Reeves, thank you so much for your time. God bless you,
Thank
and
you.
keep up the great work.
God bless. Thank you